Welcome to the deep dive. We're pulling back the curtain today on some of the tech that really shapes our digital world and our focus. A company that's, well, incredibly influential in networking, but maybe flies under the radar a bit for most people. Juniper Networks. You hear so much about AI chatbots, quantum computing, all that buzz, but Juniper, they've been quietly building the actual backbone of the internet for, what, nearly 30 years now?
Yeah, absolutely. And quietly is the right word, but their impact is huge. Just think about it. Every time you stream, say, a 4K movie, or you jump on a video call, Zoom, or whatever, or even just, ordering coffee with your phone, there's a really good chance Juniper hardware is somewhere in that chain making it happen.
Right.
They're that unseen infrastructure, the digital superhighways. And understanding them really helps you grasp how this whole thing works, the internet we rely on.
Exactly. So our mission today, really, is to give you a shortcut, a way to get properly informed about this really critical company. We're going to look at their origin story, which is fascinating, and why it mattered. Then we'll dive into their products, routing, switching, security, and their pretty revolutionary Mist AI stuff. We'll touch on the big rivalries, Cisco, Huawei, look at some cool real-world examples, think Wall Street, think Wimbledon, and wrap up with where they might fit into this AI-driven future everyone's talking about. So yeah. Get ready for a proper deep dive.
Okay, so let's rewind. Back to 1996.
Yeah.
The internet was just exploding, right?
Yeah.
But the gear, the networking hardware, especially for the big service providers, it mostly came from one place, Cisco. They were dominant. And into that scene stepped Juniper's founders. And they had this, pretty radical idea at the time.
1996? That's fascinating. What was the internet like back then? We're talking dial-up, right? Cloud was just water vapor. What was missing? What gap did Juniper see?
Precisely. Yeah, dial-up days for many. Cisco had great routers, really versatile, good for businesses, enterprises. But Juniper asked a different question. What if we built routers specifically for service providers?
Yeah.
Just for them. And their very first product, the M40. It was basically the embodiment of that focus.
The M40. Legendary, right. What made it so revolutionary back then? I mean, networking's changed so much since.
It really was a breakthrough. First off, it wasn't just faster. It was the first big commercial router to properly separate the control plane and the forwarding plane. Think of it like two different brains. One makes the decisions, where does this data need to go? The other one, totally separate, just does the incredibly fast work of moving the packets. That split, that architecture, it'll let the internet scale up way beyond what people imagined.
Wow.
Second, they built JNCIE, their operating system. Incredibly stable, secure, and crucially, you could upgrade it without taking the whole network down.
Yes.
Super resilient. And third, that laser focus. Just the internet's core, the big pipes. While Cisco was, chasing enterprise deals, Juniper specialized and got really good at the high-end stuff.
And you can see how that paid off. IPO in '99 at $34 shoots up to over $240. Suddenly, they're Cisco's main competitor in that critical carrier space. That's some rapid growth.
Yeah, it was. Okay, fast forward to today. Juniper is much broader now, a full-stack player, really. Let's break down their main product areas. First, routing. Still core to what they do. You've got the PTX series. These are the monsters, the internet backbone routers, handling, 24 terabits per second?
Which is, give me a sense of that.
Okay, think of it like this. Enough capacity to send every single page on Wikipedia, 500 times over, every second.
Okay, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Then there's the MX series, often called the Universal CPE, customer premises equipment. Basically, a versatile box that goes out near the customer, businesses or homes, providing all sorts of services. Apparently, like 90% of Fortune 100 companies use the MX series somewhere. And then the ACX series for cloud-focused access.
So these aren't just quick routers. These are the heavy lifters.
Yeah.
Specialized for huge volume, reliability, right at the core. It really makes you appreciate the scale of data just whizzing around constantly.
Exactly. So that's moving data between places. Now let's look inside places like data centers or big company networks. That's their switching portfolio. You've got the EX series. Think of those as the solid workhorses for campus networks, universities, office buildings, and then the QFX series. These are the high-performance beasts for data centers. We're talking microsecond latency here, super fast. But the really cool bit now is their Apstra software. It's kind of like an autopilot for these big data center networks.
Autopilot, how so?
Well, instead of engineers manually configuring hundreds or thousands of switches, you tell Apstra what you want the network to do, the outcome, the policy. And Apstra figures out how to configure everything, monitors it, validates it. It drastically cuts down on human error. Complexity.
Well, and this is where it gets really compelling, right? The predictive maintenance stuff.
Yep.
The switch itself can basically email IT saying, hey, Port 24 looks like it might fail soon before it happens.
Yes, exactly. That's a huge shift, moving from reactive, oh no, something broke, to proactive, fixing things before they impact anyone.
That changes the whole game for reliability. IT isn't just firefighting anymore.
Absolutely. Less downtime, frees up engineers for more important stuff. Okay, so we've moved data, managed it, at now securing it. That's crucial. Juniper Security Solutions. Big one here is the SRX firewalls. Next-gen stuff. Massive throughput, 1.5 terabits per second. Plus, they layer on AI for spotting malware, what they call threat prevention, and Secure Edge for securing access in the cloud era using Zero Trust.
Zero trust. That basically means trust no one, verify everything, even inside the network.
Pretty much, yeah. Assume no user or device is inherently trustworthy. Always verify. It's critical now.
I heard this story, maybe you know it, about a big bank using Juniper Security. They apparently stopped something like 3 million attack attempts in just the first week after deploying it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The scale of threats is enormous. Having that kind of intelligent, proactive defense is vital, especially in finance.
Just incredible impact.
Definitely. Okay, fourth pillar, Mist AI and cloud services. This is where Juniper is arguably really differentiating itself now. It's a big philosophical shift in network management. They have this thing called Marvis Virtual Assistant. You can literally ask it questions in plain English about network problems, and it can help troubleshoot or even fix them.
So IT teams can just talk to the network.
Kind of, yeah. Or type questions. It understands natural language. Then there's AI-driven WAN for self-healing SD-WAN networks.
SD-WAN being software-defined wide area networks, managing connections between offices.
Exactly. Making those connections smarter, more resilient.
Yeah.
And AI RAN is coming for optimizing 5G.
Yeah.
Get this. Their AI can sometimes detect a VoIP call quality dropping before the people on the call even notice, and then reroute the traffic automatically.
That's the game changer right there. It's not just finding problems faster, it's preventing them from being problems in the first place. Proactive, seamless.
Precisely. Okay, let's talk competition. The big league. You've got Cisco, obviously the longtime giant, and Juniper, the maybe more agile, specialized challenger.
Yeah.
Market share, Cisco's still king in the overall enterprise space, over 50%. But Juniper, very strong in service providers. They run something like 40% of the global internet backbone network.
Right. And pricing, I hear Juniper often comes in cheaper.
Typically, yeah. Maybe 20, 30% less for similar specs, often. Now, innovation. This is interesting. Juniper, you have to say, leads on the AI and automation front right now, especially with Mist AI. Cisco has their DNA center, which is powerful, but Mist is generally seen as more advanced in its AI capabilities. That AI leadership isn't just a featureless thing. It points towards more autonomous, self-managing networks, which is a big deal operationally. Cisco, though, is way ahead in collaboration tools, WebEx, and all that. Much broader portfolio there.
And I think what you hear a lot from IT folks is, with Cisco, you buy into this huge ecosystem, a kind of one-stop shop, which has its advantages. But with Juniper, people often say you're buying pure engineering focus, especially for those really demanding mission-critical networks.
Yeah, that's a common perspective. So the verdict, Cisco probably wins on breadth. They have something for almost everyone. But Juniper often wins on that bleeding-edge performance, particularly where AI and automation are key differentiators. And of course, you can't ignore Huawei, especially globally. They're always a major force in this market, too. Adds complexity.
But it's not just tech specs, right? Juniper stuff is out there making a real difference. Like that story about the big financial firm. They swapped out, 8,000 Cisco devices for Juniper? Saved $14 million a year and got better reliability. That's not just saving money. That's a strategic tech upgrade.
Exactly. Or there's a global retailer. Used Mist AI across 2,000 stores. Cut their Wi-Fi troubleshooting time from 3 hours down to 3 minutes. Think about that scale. Across thousands of stores, huge efficiency gain. Impacts sales, staff, customers.
And something a bit more fun, that smart stadium example. Juniper Network handling 70,000 people streaming 4K video during a game. Simultaneously. Zero buffering. That's enabling a whole fan experience that just wasn't possible before. Seamless digital interaction on a massive scale.
It really is. Okay, looking ahead. Crystal ball time. I've got a few predictions for Juniper. By 2026, maybe sooner, I reckon 80% of their products will have dedicated AI coprocessors embedded right in them. Intelligence moving right to the edge.
Making decisions faster locally.
Exactly. And Junos, their core OS. I think it evolves into a proper network hypervisor, meaning it can manage the whole network infrastructure, routers, switches, firewalls as one unified thing, abstracting away the specific hardware underneath. And big picture, They either get acquired, maybe someone like IBM could make sense,
Hmm.
or they really solidify themselves as the undisputed leader in AI-driven networking. One or the other feels likely.
My hot take. Juniper's like that brilliant, quiet engineer in the corner who just keeps building the smartest, most reliable systems while everyone else is making noise. They're driving this quiet revolution that powers everything we do online. You really can't underestimate them.
Yeah, to kind of synthesize all that,
Mm-hmm.
Juniper Networks is absolutely essential. Maybe silent to most people, but fundamental to the internet's infrastructure. Those early innovations putting control and forwarding, the strength of JNOs, and now leading with AI and predictive capabilities, they've shaped so much. Understanding these engineering feats behind the scenes, it genuinely gives you a much deeper grasp of how your whole digital world actually functions.
That's so true. Exploring these silent giants, you get these real aha moments. You see the incredible intelligence and complexity under the surface of simple things we do online every day. It makes you appreciate the sheer scale these systems handle, mostly without us even noticing.
So as you think about Juniper Journey and where it's heading,
Yeah.
you know, 80% AI-embedded products by 2026, JNOS becoming a hypervisor. Maybe mull this over. How might these increasingly smart, increasingly autonomous networks fundamentally change things for us? The speed, the reliability, the very capabilities of our digital lives. Could this unlock totally new ways to communicate, work, be entertained, things we can perhaps only just begin to imagine right now?